The only thing that could stop that emotional agony, that was the icy water. That gave me just a brief moment of opening the door to healing, to tranquility, to just purpose, just being. Just being and feeling was great at that moment. Even though I was in icy cold water, I felt relief of that emotional agony, which is much more stressful than icy water, I can tell you. But through the icy water, I could find relief, and that gave me back my control over my body and my emotions.
You're watching Young and Profiting Podcast on YouTube. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Hala and on Young and Profiting Podcast, we investigate a new topic each week and interview some of the brightest minds in the world. Before we get started, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified every time we drop a new video. Hey, Wim, welcome to Young and Profiting Podcast.
Thank you.
So happy that you're here. This might be one of my most anticipated interviews so far this year, and you are a living legend known as the Iceman. And this is because of your dozens of world records involving the cold, including climbing Mount Everest in shorts and running an ice and snow half marathon barefoot. You've taken the scientific world by storm, and you've helped humans reimagine the possibilities of understanding our brains and the conscious control of our innermost bodily functions and systems. And you seem to be truly enlightened and have tapped into ancient wisdom through your work. And so my plan is to cover a lot of ground in the next hour. And I want to be sure all of my young and profiters hear your perspective on the meaning of life, the creation of life, and our purpose as humans. I want to get some background into how you became the Iceman and all the revolutionary findings that have come from your breathing techniques and the scientific studies that back it up. And I also want to understand how you envision the future of mankind. So we've got a lot of things to cover. So I want to get straight into some of your beliefs, because I know that everything that comes out of your mouth is pretty much pure gold and very eye-opening, especially for those who may not have heard your work before. And for those who have heard your stuff before, I hope we get some new thoughts and perspectives. And so I want to start off with your perspective on the purpose of life. You've said in the past that the brain stem is the purpose of life. I want to understand what you mean by that, and what do you think the purpose of life is as humans?
The purpose of life is life itself. Without a life, there is nothing. So it all started, the development of mammals, of reptiles in the past, as the brainstem. The brainstem knows cold, it knows heat, it knows fear, it knows food, it knows freeze, but it doesn't think. It is not really feeling, but the purpose of life as being just life is there. And then we developed our brains into a limbic system upon that, which is the mammalian brain, and then the neocortex, which is the human brain. And now we are able to think about things and become conscious. Consciousness means expanding neurology inside the brain. And that makes our existence as beings suddenly able to alleviate the gravity where we came in, and have a consciousness growing that transcends the physical powers of this world and goes into a higher consciousness. But before that happens, we need to have an understanding of how to control these mechanisms inside the brain to evolve from being in this world into a consciousness which is entangled, to a consciousness which is able to transcend or to become enlightened. Because in the end, our purpose is to be light, not dark, light, not heavy.
So while we're on the topic of the meaning of life, I think you have a really unique perspective on the role of the body versus the role of the soul. Could you explain that to us?
Yes, the body is absolutely the vehicle of our soul. Without the soul, we stink in one day. When the body is just the body, it's just, hey, it's because of the grace of the soul that you are smiling and looking at me and being conscious and so beautiful. You are beautiful, but the soul in the people all is beautiful. It is the light itself. So in that body, it's able to express. And I've been studying my body's reactions as well as the limits of what a body and mind is able to do, say, in an aggressive environment called the cold. The cold is really the dark. It's dark, it's cold, there is no life. And testing my light, my power of my mind and body to go into that matter and to see how far I can get. And then going in there, I found out we have a soul. We have a soul that is able to tap into areas of our brain and body, which is far more than in science is stated. And this is what I've learned by going into nature, into the unknown, past the fear, past my fears, to venture, to want to know what is this soul. The soul is the unlimited power of the mind. And our physical body is like the radio who picks up the waves, the resonance. The unlimited power of the mind is the neurological connection we can have as being the receiver and sender of what is the unlimited power of the mind around us. And it's all there. Only my body has been tested and gone past our conditioned way of thinking and doing, enabling me to find things thought of in science impossible, like how to beat disease, how to beat depression, how to beat known physiological laws and stay for hours in freezing cold and have no temperature change within myself, or how to go into the deep, at will, into the deepest of the brain and the deepest of the bone marrow, into the deepest of the DNA. This was all thought. It's impossible for humans to do that willfully. But I know my body. I have been testing it out myself, not going according the books, but according my intuition, my instinct, and that brought me exactly where I want to be, to see and feel the presence of something that is more than thinking. And that right now is present within me. And it enlightens me. And I'm able to enlighten millions of people now.
So something that's really interesting, like you were just saying before, that the cold is like the dark, right? You purposely make yourself uncomfortable. And here we are in modern day age. We're wearing clothes. We keep ourselves warm. We've got temperature control, AC, heat. We're always comfortable, right? We're always wearing clothes. We never feel the environment. What's wrong with that?
That means we destimulate our organs. The greatest of organs is our skin. So when we do not stimulate our skin's receptors, neural receptors, temperature receptors, pain receptors, it's all in the skin. It's millions of them. We always cover them up. So what kind of information do you give your body inside when it is destimulated, when it is always sort of the same? Then there is no danger, there is no deep stimulation, and that then is not able to stimulate and or make grow internal neurological networks. And when that was also known in science, that people are able to regulate their internal neurological networks, like the sixth sense, the seventh sense, and the eighth sense. It's all new. Proprioception, interoception, and the sixth sense, which is intuition and instinct. Those are internally, but if we cover up our bodies, then of course something will not work fully. And then we think when we keep on going into this comfort zone behavior, then we will have to confront ourselves with modern day problems, comfort zone behavioral problems. And that is cardiovascular related diseases, for example, is killer number one in our society. It's because in our skin, all the 125,000 kilometers, like 75,000 miles of cardiovascular channels, they end up in the skin. When they are not stimulated, the internal vascular system is not stimulated as well. And adjoined with the cardiovascular system, 175,000 miles in each and every one of us, are millions of little muscles. So if you don't stimulate them, they become mediocre. And the heart needs to pump harder. And it becomes stressful. And then we ask, why do we have burnouts? While we are able to run people to the moon and to Mars, and I don't know what all do, highly civilized and all amazing technology, and then not being able to regulate our happiness, strength, and health, or to be strong and vivid as we should. And we are built to be strong and vivid and enthusiastic and creative and always positively radiant. We are built like that. Only we destimulated our own potential. We destimulated our capacity. And that's why we are facing so many autoimmune diseases, cancers, depressions, stress, burnouts, fatigues, call it all kinds of names. All goes to the same problem, destimulative comfort zone behavior. So going out of there is actually seeking real comfort or real power. And it is in initial stressful response you will get when you go into the cold. But very soon, in a couple of days, the cold is gone and your energy is up. And that is our natural state, that we have a lot of energy all day long. And amazing what you can do with that.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's almost like as humans, as we got more civilized, we forgot about our own internal powers because we just got more comfortable, destimulated, and we forgot what power we actually have and how our mind can actually change our body, which is why your work is so powerful. So, Wim, I want to take a step back. I want to go to your childhood. So you were born in the Netherlands. You were born to a household of 9 kids, and you were actually a twin brother, and you came into the world completely unexpected. Your twin brother was born first, and then you came next, and your mom said to you, let this child live. I will make him a missionary. So tell us, what is your mission in life today?
My mission is no less than changing the world through the heart of people, billions of people. Through the heart, I will show that unconditional love for life and for each other is a natural inborn capacity of every person in the world. So that is where there is no depression, no disease. When people become unconditionally, love is such a great power when you feel it. Now, imagine if we could make that unconditional power called love up and running within us. Without condition. Just you wake up and you're just in love. You know how strong love can be. You know, when you love somebody, you fly. You don't think. You get such a strong sensations and emotions, and you are lifted up. You are like flying. That power is also there unconditionally. Also, without the need of another person. It's there. And so I love my wife very much and my family life now. But I was born like 63 years ago. And then my mother, yes, she said that slogan, said that invocation in the cold of the hole. I was unexpected being born in the cold of the hole with the words, "Oh God, let this child live. I will make him a missionary." That was my mother, God-fearing person, pious and but very strong in her beliefs. And that must have been the tattoo on my soul back then, and that made me different all my life. So yeah, respect to the mother and the love and the power there. Now it is so far that through the BBC, the series I'm doing, Hollywood, and it's getting to hundreds of millions of people now. So my aim is nothing less, once again, as in the beginning, to change the world, to bring the understanding and the tools to connect with the power to unconditionally love life.
That's beautiful. So let's take it to your teenager. So when you were 17 years old, you were vegetarian, you tried different things like karate, kung fu, yoga, and then something attracted you into ice water. You didn't really figure it out completely until later on, but you were attracted to cold water. So what were you like as a teenager? Why did you, it's not normal to do kung fu and to do yoga when you're a kid. What were you like when you were a teenager?
I was quite knowledgeable. A debater, a philosopher, into esoteric disciplines from Sufism to Buddhism to Hinduism to karate of Japan to yoga from India. Anything I could get my hands upon was of interest to me. And I practiced it all. I was very disciplined. No drinking, no smoking. Just going into these exercises and disciplines, the practice, and philosophizing a lot. And then I found at the age of 17, I was already read hundreds of books. I was just different. Maybe not a nerd. I can't say I was a nerd. No, I followed my feeling. My feeling wanted to know, to get to know more. Languages. I speak many languages. It's because my feeling has always been open to learn. If you stay open, you will learn languages. If I went to France, I opened up to learn French, and then to Spain, and then to Spanish. And that's the way I've learned it. And so the moment you speak 10 languages is no problem. And that is because you are an open being. We should not close ourselves up in our persona. Always be inquisitive like a child. A child's inquisitive nature is stronger than to be in a persona. That's why they are always so excited. And they are beautiful because they are directly present in the light. That's what I want. I want to be in the light now and forever. So going back then, when I was 17, I found myself in the park a Sunday morning, and I went into this, I felt an attraction, an intuitive attraction. And instinctively, I went in and I was hooked. And this is it's 46 years ago. And since then, I've been doing it every winter, every day, going into the cold. And the cold is a doorway, as I say, to the soul. Because through the cold, you automatically breathe deeply. And when you breathe deeply, you go past this comfort zone behavioral conditioning. You get into deeper areas of your physiology, of the mind and the body, because you're feeling it. You know when you are alive. That's when you feel it, then you don't need to know what is life, no, you are there. That's what the cold is able to bring you, to this awareness to a deeper depth than your conditioned mind of the modern times. I followed that, and then I became aware that my breathing deepened. And with the deepening, I began to exercise and to try out different kinds of breathing that resulted in very effective techniques that now have shattered science. For example, 3 weeks ago, I got a mother with 2 children coming to me, age 5 and 7, both brain tumors. And they have to go into chemo, and they are sick all the time, nauseous and sick, and they lose their hair and all that because of their chemo. But since they are doing these breathing techniques, plus going into the cold, their white cells of the immune system have tenfold multiplied. It directly feeds into the depth of the system, and with that, the white cells, they multiply like crazy, and this is very effective, these breathing techniques. Very effective to do it with the cold, because it goes into the depth of your physiology, much deeper than our modern day conditioning, and then brings solace to, say, two children of 5 and 7. They are happy now, they are full of energy, and they don't feel the chemo whatsoever. The mother is happy, the children are happy, I'm happy. So with that, the techniques I found, because there is more than meets the eye, and I just began on the hunch when I was 17. Now it has been proven throughout my life to beat all kinds of world records, and then science itself.
Yes. And so we're going to get into all the techniques and the studies that you've been into and exactly what the Wim Hof Method is. We're going to talk about all of that. But you mentioned something that I really want to touch on, which is following your intuition, right? You did not read this in a book. You figured this out by following your feelings. And I feel like a lot of people now, they don't know how to even understand what their own feelings and intuition is. They don't even know how to control that or how to even appreciate it or understand that. So talk to us about, how do you know what your intuition is, what your feelings are, where you should go next? What are the things that you envision or feel?
First of all, know that your intuition is a neurological network. It's called the instinct and the intuition. And those are neural signaling coming from cognitive cells in the gut and in the heart. And they are very strong. Only we, with our thinking brain, we have developed a established complex of thinking mechanisms that suppress intuition, the neurology of the gut and the heart to the brain. It blocks it. We keep on thinking. We try, and thus it is very difficult to sense it because we are blocked therein. If you go many times one direction, then it's very difficult to get out of the trodden path. Our conditioning of our brain has made us go a part of our neurological, we should have developed those neurological pathways to the heart and to the gut much more than we did. So if we talk about that, then that's why you don't feel it. That's why you don't understand it, because it hasn't got anything to do with this thinking. It has got to do with absolute feeling, a feeling more subtle but more powerful as premonition, telepathy, clairvoyance, beautiful, subtle, imaginary images. All those things we are deprived from because we are schooled to learn 1 and 1 is 2. What is history? What is mathematics? What is language? Hey, we should have learned in the primary school to be happy, strong, and healthy. If we come more from an intuitive way, from our instincts, and having developed that, then we know what is wrong and what is right. We can feel it, we can understand the messages, and we are built to be always in balance inside. But we had to learn all the time this, we keep on going. And then that part has been neglected. And that is the sensitive inner child. It's a sad story, actually. But now I'm here to say we found now a way to top-down regulate those neurological pathways. So we are able to go back into reconnecting from our state of mind into those neurological networks called the sixth sense, seventh sense, eighth sense, or the intuition, the instinct, the knowing why you are here, the purpose of life. All those things are not abstract things. It's physiology. And now I made it physical, showing it in scientific brain scans. And then showing that now we have found the keys of the so-called autonomous processes in the brain related to mood regulation or emotion. So the emotion can be regulated by us. And who doesn't want to feel happy, strong, and healthy? That's our mood. And mood, you can also call it the mind. So we got those keys now. And for those who are seeking intuition, instinct, and do not even understand what it is, let me tell you, we found the physical keys to open it up. So you listen to this podcast and you give it a follow-up by just trying out these techniques and get back into connection with your true self, because it's beautiful.
It is. This is so interesting and so powerful to me. Something that I'm curious about is, do you think that we used to know this stuff in ancient times, or do you think that we are evolving now and this is the next evolution? What do you think?
It is the second one. Before, of course, there were less people, was much more trade, much more creativity, less industrialized copying of things, extension tools. It was a lot less. So the other parts of the brain were much more stimulated, thus developed. Yes, but 50 years ago or 55 years ago, 1969 or 7, it was when Apollo went to the moon, and all that Houston, the data, the control, Cape Canaveral, the moon, the rocket, the Apollo, that was all that together in data was a lot less than this. And this iPhone, we all use iPhones and phones, and it's digital traffic that runs into our neurology. Our neurology goes a lot faster now than 50 years ago. The thing is, our minds have evolved internally very fast. And now it's the time to take ownership, control over our brain functioning at will. And now that's exactly what I've been showing in science. That goes fully against the understandings, say, of psychiatry, neurology, neuroscience, immunology, all those sciences from the past. They are shattered. Take inflammation. Inflammation is the cause and effect of disease. Yeah, any disease. And in 2014, I showed very clearly, after having received a bacteria injected, how to defy a bacteria injected on the which creates an aggressive reaction on the immune system, becomes overactive, That's called inflammation. And I just brought it down and dealt with the bacteria in the beginning. So it could not grow. I inhibited it. And that is because I activated my immune system to a much deeper level at will, all at will. And then they said, if you are able to do that, then that means you're able to bring down the cause and effect of disease. But you must be a freak of nature, because nobody ever has shown what you have been showing in results. And then I said, no, anybody can do this. Our mind at will is now able to tap in to our, say, immune system, endocrine system, lymphatic system, much deeper than ever before has been stated in scientific literature. Of course, the whole pharmaceutical industry and all those people dependent on sick people, because that's their clients, it's going to go away, because people have a much more possible autonomy over that what causes disease, whatever the name of disease. So that is because that is the state, the possible capacity of the state of our mind in our brain nowadays, not 50 years ago. Now it is. And now we are also able to tap into, say, the past, the time, space consciousness, which is a part in our brain, but the soul doesn't know time. Or it's omniscient, it knows more than time, because it's everlasting. It's unbreakable and everlasting. But you cannot ask a child what it is to be an adult. It never has experienced it. And it's very difficult to talk to people and say, do you know what it is to be timeless? Do you know what it is to be the soul that is going past time and space? When time and space are no longer, then the fear of death is gone. And we are able to go past that time-space consciousness originated from our neocortex and our prefrontal cortex, whatever the names. Our present-day consciousness is captivated within the time-space consciousness. But we are, in our minds, are able now to tap in to the unlimited, to the timelessness, the unlimited power of our mind. It's just neurology, it's physical, it's no longer a philosophy. So we are able to tap in to those areas, and that means all you people, when you listen to this podcast, we found the keys to go into the control of 100% of our minds. Because the mind is what we receive and where we send it to. That's why it's called the unlimited power. It's everywhere and everything. But we are the radio. We are the sender and the receiver. And with that, we are able to control our bodies with resonance, with neurology. And neurology is controlling the cardiovascular system, etc. All that and emotions, they all have purpose. And now we are able to enter into that all willfully. It is saying to the person, what do you really want? Because you are able to find it, and you are built to be able to find it. And if not, go into the ice, do the breathing, because it makes you go past your conditioned, captivated mind. So there we are.
Amazing. So I definitely want to go back to this topic and talk about placebos in a bit. But first, I actually want my listeners to understand how you became the Iceman. So like we were saying, when you were 17, you were dabbling in the cold, but really your true awakening came out of pain and grief. And so from my research, I learned that your wife had schizophrenia when you were 35. She committed suicide. She left you with 4 children to care for on your own. I can't even imagine how tough that must have been. I mean, the busyness of tending to 4 young children, you probably didn't didn't have much time to grieve or, deal with the pain. So help us understand, how did you become the Iceman from the death of your wife?
Yes, you become very fast conscious to find ways to deal with the situation when you have 4 kids and you have no money and you are heartbroken. Or you overcome or you break. It's very simple. And then I found that the cold was able to bring stillness in my mind. That was going past my emotional agony. Emotional agony is part of the mind. And it happens, but then suddenly we have no control over it. And we are delivered to the gods of emotions. And it's terrible. And it's all day long, and it eats us alive. It's neurology, and we are broken. And we need the other half, and it's not there. So that is psychosomatically a very devastating part for anybody in our society. And there is quite little consideration for these people because they have to run with the train of daily life and keep on going, especially I had to. So the only thing that could stop that emotional agony, that was the icy water. That gave me just a brief moment of opening the door to healing, to tranquility, to just purpose, just being. Just being and feeling was great at that moment. Even though I was in icy cold water, I felt relief of that emotional agony, which is much more stressful than icy water, I can tell you. But through the icy water, I could find relief, and that gave me back my control over my body and my emotions. The cold and gasping, yes. If you gasp, it is because you automatically need deeper breathing to withstand the stressful impact of icy water on the skin. It needs a biochemistry change, and that is being done by deep breathing. This is feeding your body from the inside. And thus you can go longer into icy water. You suddenly, because you make your body so powerful that it's unimaginable how powerful the body can become. If you put your mind, which is neurology, your mind is your will is connected to the mind, and your will is neurology. So those are neural signals. Together with breathing, that is a powerful entity. And I began to become conscious of that. And that entity then made me go into every day into more than one time until I was back fully in control and with all the energy I needed to have a happy or a good, vibrant family life. Without money even, I was happy, strong and healthy. And the kids could see it. I was more a child than they were. This is what they say now.
That's so beautiful. And so nowadays, we don't breathe deep. Most of us don't breathe deep. We breathe shallow. So can you talk to us about what deep breathing does? Like, how does it clean our cells? Why is it so good for us?
Yes, deep breathing makes our carbon dioxide to breathing out. Not only it makes the CO2 carbon dioxide goes off with the exercises of deep breathing. But if you generally breathe deeper, then your body does not become acidic. We walk in our society, we take on stress, we have to exercise and exert our bodies and minds, and we think we can do that without repercussions. And that's not. We have biochemical repercussions of that, making our bodies acidic. And deep breathing simply gives us the food to deal with that stress and to go deeply into the lymphatic system, which is the storage system, the garbage system of ours, where biochemical residue is present. If you breathe deep, then it gets into the lymphatic system. And once it gets into the lymphatic, then it cleanses the acidity over there. And then you will feel relieved again. And you feel energy, because that's the way we are. We are vibrant beings until we get we become acidic. And then we feel sluggish, we feel tired, we feel, oh, it's too much. And it's logical, because the biochemistry is not clean. We should clean ourselves every day. If we do these breathing techniques, and they are very simple, then it has been shown in scientific blood results taken of people doing this, then you become very alkaline. And then 5 hours later, they took the blood again of those people who did their breathing. They were still alkaline. That means it is a thorough way to cleanse yourself in the depth of your physiology. And then magic happens.
And it's free.
It is freedom. Freedom is the ability to go anywhere with your mind and your body inside.
So how do you perform the Wim Hof method exactly? What is the Wim Hof breathing method?
Starting with the cold, gradual cold exposure. I always say a cold shower a day keeps the doctor away. Just take it on, guys. It's also the best skincare you can ever imagine, because you stimulate all these receptors in the skin everywhere, and that makes it the blood flow go to the skin. And blood flow is nutrients, it's oxygen, it's vitamins, minerals. It's all there. It's feeding it from the inside. That is one. Two, if you go into the cold, you train your cardiovascular system. We think the cardiovascular system, you don't see it, but it has millions of little muscles. And going into the cold shower is stimulating deeply those millions of little muscles. And thus the blood flow will go much better through your body. That is the 75,000 miles. It will travel a lot better, because all those muscles, they help with contracting and opening. That is because of the stimulation of the cold. Do it. And then the heart rate goes down, like 20, 30 beats a minute, 24 hours a day. That means a lot less stress. And because all those millions of little muscles help the blood flow go through much better, that's why it reaches all the cells a lot better, by which the nutrients, the minerals, the oxygen, they get into the cells a lot better, means a lot more energy. So energy goes up, the stress goes down. That is what is the cold is doing. Really, your energy goes, whoa, how much energy do you want? You will get it. That's one. Two is the breathing. Naturally, when you go into the cold, you feel deep breathing. Deep breathing cleanses the lymphatic system. You de-acidify yourself. You become alkaline. And alkalinity is the carrier, the right biochemical environment for the neurology to flow. That is our electrical system. That is our nervous system, is electricity. Those are electrons and protons. Yes, and every cell is a battery. And when you become alkaline, then every cell, trillions are there, but let's take one cell. Therein are electrons and protons. When they are mingled, it's not able to charge up energy. Electrons and protons, I'm calling it. This is physiology, yeah? Electrophysiology. So when you become alkaline, then they get apart. the electrons and protons become apart. That means suddenly the battery is getting charged. And thus, that is very good for the cell mechanisms, but also for your energy in general. You will see that if you do the breathing, for example, I hear a lot of CEOs saying at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm sluggish in my mind. And then I do the breathing. 20 minutes, I'm fresh like a chicken again. This is making the energies, the alkalinity in the body, making it alkaline, by which the nervous system is able to run with the speed of light. The speed of electricity is the speed of light. It's within, and we can make that happen anytime. So that is great. That is the breathing. Then you get the mind. You were talking a little bit about the placebo, but the placebo, I can tell you, is no longer, because I showed that in brain scans how to activate robustly the endocannabinoid system, which is a name, periaqueductal gray hemisphere. It's where the opioids, the cannabinoids, dopamine, serotonins, all is there. And I'm able to activate that at will. And with that, I'm able to rectify inside what needs to be balanced out because of inflammation, deregulation of the immune system, whatsoever, what is making me sick. I'm able to nullify it by activating my pharmacy inside, and it knows exactly what to do.
And so when you say placebo is no more, do you mean you figured out what a placebo is? It's actually people controlling their bodies because they believe something, and before they never really knew that they had the power, but they took this pill and then they believed they had the power. Is that what it is?
Exactly. It's no longer a suggestive power. It is the power, innate capacity of ours to regulate what is what is deregulated in our bodies.
There's two things that I want to talk about: alkaline, which you touched on, and adrenaline. So alkaline, usually we think we've got to drink certain types of water, but I learned from you that, like you said, deep breathing can impact our alkalinity. We can have the perfect pH levels in our bodies so it can operate beyond what we're currently used to. So if we have shallow breathing, it's acidic, right? And if we have deep breathing, we can become more alkaline and our body performs better. Now, what does adrenaline have to do? I know adrenaline is a big part of this. So what does adrenaline have to do with this?
Adrenaline is the great resetter. When you are in danger, then you can shit in your pants. You can pee in your pants. Anything that is inside is then instantly out, because you got to be ready. You got to be handling the situation with the utmost of functionality. That's what it is. And then not only shitting and peeing in the pants, but also bacteria and virus, they don't aid to the situation. They are blocking it. They're making you sluggish. If you are, it's like people who are entrepreneurs, and they are not working for a boss, but they are having their own company, and they have to go for a deadline. They are able to postpone their becoming sick because they have to do the deadline. That's adrenaline. So the adrenaline, when it shuts down because the deadline has been reached and all, then they become sick suddenly. I had this problem with the people of SpaceX. You know, the Elon Musk, SpaceX, I gave it a master class over there. And those people going on the mission to the moon, to the space, it's every time a mission, they have to perform. Adrenaline. And then when it's over, more than the half of the people become sick every time. But not anymore. And that is because I teach people how to regulate, how to activate and regulate their own adrenal axis to an extent by which they are able to bring down, when you feel not good, when you feel whatever, it should not be inside. You should be able to activate your adrenal axis, to spike it, to reset yourself, and feel great again. So that is what we do with these breathing techniques. They are able to activate deeply the adrenal axis. And then because you are doing it, you get a willful connection with that adrenal axis. And then when you need it in daily life somewhere, because you don't feel good, because you got to perform, you got to do a speech, a keynote speech, or this or that, or a marriage proposal, or whatever, emotional, mental, something difficult, then you are able to activate it and to be the best of yourself at that moment. And that's what we learn by going into the ice and doing the breathing exercises. We learn to have a willful or a neurological connection with those areas of the brain that brings us to the ability to function well in difficult situations.
Mm-hmm. And you've scientifically proven this. And it's not just you. You're able to replicate this with other people. So you actually had a study that you did with 12 other people, I believe, where you guys injected yourselves with E. coli, an endotoxin E. coli. And, usually people get violently sick, but nobody in the study really got sick. So tell us about that study and anything else in terms of studies, maybe something new, whatever you want to share in terms of how this is scientifically proven now.
Yes, there's quite a lot now proven. The bastards who make money on us being sick and dependent, they of course don't want that. These are natural ways, and it's not bound to only the Iceman. It is everybody is able to go much deeper in their physiology of mind and body than before was considered possible. It is really paradigm shifting material. So for the people who are listening, I did that study in 2013 where we had a comparative research done on 12 people who did not the training for 4 days, and the others did a training for 4 days. And they all were subjected to an injection of E. coli bacteria within a endotoxemia model, experimental model. And normally people become very sick. It's fever, headaches, agony, muscle aches, back aches, nausea, vomiting, things like that. And that's because of the inflammation, and you cannot stop it. But these guys, 12 of them, and this is actually not only 24 people, it's 16,000 before, they all became sick. And then suddenly 12 people did not, absolutely not, 100% not become sick. So that is, at least I would say, man, that's sick. Wow, great. Yeah, these people were making jokes. Oh, I think they injected us with sugar water because nothing is happening. They did the breathing exercises and they had this cold training only for 4 days. And they were able, and this was considered to be impossible in humans, to tap into the autonomic nervous system. That is the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, which we cannot control. And with that, the innate immune system. If there was a problem in the COVID virus inflammation causing these diseases, pulmonary, endothelial leaks in the lungs, and where people drown in themselves, like pneumatic edema, then it is caused by inflammation, and we brought it down. Nobody wants to know about this. This is sick. This is a sick society where money is being brought up. Hey, that's our earning model. We don't want to crash into that. Man, where have we gone with our soul, happiness, strength, and health? This is what I've showed through science, and even then, people do not take it up. And it changed the books in the university, yeah? It was been published in the best of scientific papers of the world. So why they are not taking it up is evident. But I tell to the listener right now, hey man, there is a way where you are able to get a much deeper hold of yourself to guarantee and maintain your own happiness, strength, and health. Just take it on, follow up on this, and look into it. And just try it out once. If it doesn't work, blame me. But if it works, hey man, congratulations. You have a great control over your own systems the way nature meant it to be. And then afterwards, I did, that's where we actually shattered science. The foundations of science, we shattered it over there. This was impossible, considered in all the hundreds of years of science, that the autonomic nervous system willfully can be activated, influenced, changed, controlled. It was not there, and now it's there. It changed the whole paradigm. So that is history. That's historical, guys. And it's historical for your own health, happiness, and strength in your life. Just take it on. This is more than reading matter or entertainment. These are real facts, the real tools. It's called the breathing and the cold, gradual cold exposure to bring you back to your real natural condition wherein you are able to maintain and activate your own happiness, strength, and health. It's all there, guys. And with that, the ability to control 100% of your own brain, which we also showed in another study in Hanover in Germany, with whom I'm going to have a podcast after this, with the doctors of them. And we found out through these breathing exercises that we are able to activate 100% neural activity inside the brain. And then the mind, which is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent, we can reach it. We can tap into that. And we can use it for whatever we need in our subconsciousness, through our intuition and our instincts, the sixth sense. We can all learn to control it. It's here. And listen, it's not difficult. It's not complicated. Just bring it on, because you are now innately, our mind, the field of consciousness, where everybody actually is connected to, now is ready to be entered by us at will. So that's another study I just did. And I'm doing right now a study with cardiologists of the world, Montreal, Nuremberg, and Hanover, big universities, and the best of equipment. And they saw heart films, and they saw like 5 times more blood flushing into the heart and into the brain doing these breathing exercises. That was one. But then every trauma has a cardiovascular imprint in everybody of us. And that's the way it stores up. When it happens in the moment, it's too much. Yeah, but it is imprinted in our cardiovascular system. It remembers, it's stored up. Now, doing these breathing techniques, you go into extreme contraction and extreme dilatation or opening of the vascular system, by which you shake off the cardiovascular imprint, which is the future of psychiatry. Breathing is the future of psychiatry and cardiology, because cardiology means, hey, if you are able to reboot your heart the electrical currents in your heart by flushing 5 times more blood inside. It's like a reboosting, like your car in the winter, the battery needs a booster. It's like you boost you from the inside. And we are doing the study with 600 people right now. And the data is being processed. But this is all revolutionary. And so I got more. I did these studies in Detroit in brain scans and fMRIs. And it shows that we now found the keys to enter into emotion willfully, only using the will. And we have to awaken the people toward that fact. It's a fact that your neurology of your brain now is capacitated to willfully control your emotion. And your emotion can be perturbed by disease, by stress, by fatigue, by divorces, but you can outbalance that back again, willfully. But you have to exercise it. Don't think you cannot. Think you can. And thus you neurosignal within yourself, and you will see miracles. Life is a miracle. Life will happen. Miracles happen.
This is so powerful. Honestly, I feel like this is only the beginning. I feel like you're so revolutionary. You're changing the world. I hope you live to be 200 years old so you can keep telling everyone to do this and keep teaching. And I'm going to spread the message as much as I can. So I know that we're running out of time here, so we're going to wrap it up. I have a few more questions. I want to really understand what you think. How do I explain this? Like your perspective on religion. You've said that God is cold. I know that you believe in reincarnation. I feel like you really tapped into something special and you know a lot more about the purpose of life and the world more than most people because you are like just in it more. So I want to hear your perspective.
Exactly. I saw once a documentary of the south of Italy, and there was one guy saying, it was a woman saying, yeah, you know why miracles happen here? Because we believe. People lost their beliefs, and beliefs now is become physical. And this is what I've been showing. Your belief, your neurosignaling is able to heal yourself, to positively influence the neurology of your whole body, to make you feel divine. That's the purpose of our neurosignaling, of our will, to become one with what makes us feel divine and great and expanding our consciousness. It's physical. It's very simple. So where do you invest in that you are not able to feel like divine and great and amazing? Or do you feel, I just follow what is here and then I want flowers on my funeral later, something like that. And somebody sing a song. I say, fuck off all. I want real love and feel like a king. I'm proud of who I am. I'm spreading the love and I will not go until everybody is happy, strong and healthy, that the soul is there as it should. And it is very simple, very powerfully there, and it's time to become timeless. Right now, right here. So in the case of religion, hey man, they diverted so much that Mohammedans and Christians both saying, Allah is it? Oh no, Christ is it? And then they bash each other's. And man, they lost the track of love, which is the vehicle of being divine. So let's leave the religions with all the respect I have for people who believe, but know that you are not bound by books or churches, synagogues or mosques or whatever. With all the respect I have for them, I say God is everywhere. So get into that.
That's beautiful. Okay, so we ask the same 2 questions to all of our guests at the end of the show, and then we do something fun. So what is one actionable thing that our listeners can do today to be more profitable tomorrow?
Take a cold shower and breathe deeper. Both.
Love it. And what is your secret to profiting in life?
Energy. In the end, money is energy. So tap into your body, cleanse your body, and energy will be yours. And then you will experience unconditional power. That is energy flow without being blocked. And then you don't need compensation from the outside. You are fulfilled inside. You feel like $1 million, only you can never ever buy it with $1 million, your unconditional love, but you can be it.
And Wim, where can our listeners learn more about you and the Wim Hof Method?
That's, as the name says, Wim Hof is my name, and then method.com. And there you find all the, on YouTube, Instagram, the things you find the science, you find the breathing bubble, the exercises. It's mostly, are you ready? Because it's a great journey awaiting.
I love that. Wim, I had such an amazing conversation with you. Is there any last words you want to say to our young and profiters?
I love you all, guys. I love you all.
Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to Young and Profiting Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please write us a review or comment on your favorite platform. Nothing makes us happier than reading your reviews. We'd love to hear what you think about the show. And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and on social media. I always repost, reshare, and support those who support us. You can find me on Instagram at Yap with Hala or LinkedIn. Just search for my name. It's Hala Taha. Big thanks to the Yap team as always. This is Hala signing off.